Oh, what's good, everybody? Welcome into the Coach and Company podcast. We are here on most weekdays to support the morning show. If you missed any of Coach and Company this morning on YouTube or social media, I encourage you to go back and watch it on demand. We had a ton of fun. It was Rant Wednesday. It was an F day. Just so many great picks as well. And by the way, your boy continues to be the hottest capper in the universe. Another 2-0 day for your boy. Now, Wednesdays before Thanksgiving, they are a huge sports night. It's also the biggest going out night of the entire year if you are still of the age to go out and party it up like in the Legends Lounge. Now, joining me today, as he does most days, my guy who's in store for a really big week in his fandom. Tonight, the Celtics play the Pistons. Friday, the Bears play the Eagles. Mikey P, happy Thanksgiving Eve.
Happy Thanksgiving Eve, Coach. Honestly, especially in the NBA, as much as I'm a diehard Celtics fan, I just love what we have coming up over the next 72 hours because never mind. The Timberwolves and Thunder play tonight. I love Anthony Edwards. My preseason pick to go to the NBA Finals out of the West was the Timberwolves. And then Friday, we're not even talking about it yet. Luka and the Lakers against not Anthony Davis because he's still hurt, and the Dallas Mavericks. I can't wait for this entire week, 5-6 days of sports we have coming up.
You know what I love too is that these leagues are starting to lean into storylines on big days. In the past, it's always like, well, we've got to make sure that this team plays this team at least once or twice, so we'll throw it on these days. Now they're saying, wait a second, Thanksgiving is a gigantic, gigantic day for the NFL. The Thanksgiving weekend, a gigantic weekend across the board for the NBA, for the NHL, for college football. And they're starting to position these games. Like you could have made Dallas Lakers at any point. But the fact that you made it on the Friday night of Thanksgiving weekend is going to be a gigantic number because a lot of people are visiting family. They're sitting around. They've already eaten. They've already played their Turkey Day football game, and you get matchups like this. But the NFL, Mikey, they're the same way. Finally, for the first time in a long time, all three games matter a great deal. There's not one that I think matters more than the other as far as storylines are concerned. Lions, Packers, talking top of the NFC North, chasing your boys. Chiefs, Cowboys, this is basically a playoff eliminator. And then you've got Joe Burrow back in the saddle, taking on the Ravens, who are on a little bit of a roll, and they believe will be the AFC North champions. When was the last time in your mind we had such a great lineup of games on Thanksgiving?
It's been quite some time. It almost felt for most of my life that the Lions were, as bad as they were, tried to be spoon-fed a favorable matchup. The Cowboys were always, in my opinion, fed favorable matchups on Thanksgiving. Those were the two teams that you always wanted to feature. But how about this? It was being said on Monday and Tuesday, and now obviously today, we're headed towards the most watched NFL game ever between the Chiefs and the Cowboys. I believe the number's 41.5. I would not be shocked if we get 50 million viewers for the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving.
It's part of the reason why Netflix got into the Christmas Day game sweepstakes and spent so much money. These holiday games, Mikey, are insane. And across the board right now, and I don't know why it is, but the NFL ratings way up. NBA never rates until January or February. They're rating right now. So it doesn't surprise me that we could see 50 million when you've got the highest paid player in the NFL, and that's not Patrick Mahomes. And you got Patrick Mahomes. And you also have the fact that, Mikey, whoever wins this game, hey, we're on a little bit of a winning streak. Dallas, 2 big wins. Last week, the way they beat Philadelphia, that's got to do an incredible amount for their confidence. But think about it. If you beat the two teams 2 straight weeks that went to the Super Bowl last year, what is that going to do for them?
It's going to do everything for them. And I feel like we just cut that DraftKings commercial where you're Kevin Hart and I'm LeBron. What does that do? It's everything. No, it absolutely is. And I really don't want to make this such like a tragic narrative, but you saw the emotion, the Marshawn Kneeland flag. I mean, players on the sideline, that's a big flag. And obviously, you want to pay respect to your fallen teammate who's no longer here. But now, the cream of the crop, Kansas City Chiefs, are coming into your house and you're carrying a 21-point comeback emotion with you. You're carrying the legacy of Marshawn Nealon with you. I don't. I don't want to say the Cowboys are going to be emotionally driven in this game because they have to win the game on the football field. But I don't know if we're going to see Jerry Jones's palace or Jerry's world more vibrant than we may see on Thanksgiving Day this year.
It's such an energetic thing, such an emotional thing. And normally, even when the game doesn't matter, there is incredible energy in the second game of the day. For whatever reason, the Detroit game is what it is, but it's the Dallas game that's the marquee game. So I think sometimes we lose sight of what it means because it is a Thanksgiving Day game. If you're the Chiefs and you have never been in this position before, that's going to be the narrative, Mikey, every week until the end of the season because of what they did early in the season. If the Cowboys win, let's start with the Cowboys. If the Cowboys win tomorrow, do you believe, despite the really difficult schedule, that they can make a run to the playoffs?
They can make a run. That's a very tricky question. They can make a run to the playoffs. Do I think they can get in? They're going to need a lot of help. They can absolutely make a run, but it starts with the Kansas City Chiefs. And if it doesn't, now they're going to have to look at winning out. I do like the Cowboys' chances in this game, and I hate to upset your fandom of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Hey, it is what it is.
I just really think we're looking at a team that is so underrated because it feels like, especially offensively, that can't be this good. George Pickens is going to be a bonehead at some point. There's no way the Cowboys can keep clicking. And what happens? They keep clicking, they keep clicking, they keep getting better. So there's definitely a chance for them to make a run, but they're going to need a lot of help along the way.
Well, the next two games is going to mean everything for them. They have Kansas City in Dallas. Then they have at Detroit against the Lions, who we know are very, very, very good. The last four games, not that difficult. Vikings, Chargers, Washington, and the Giants. So they are very much alive. On the flip side, Kansas City. They have never not gone to the AFC Championship game with Patrick Mahomes as a starter. Their schedule, if you're in this position, this is the schedule you're like, listen, these are the teams you got to play. This is exactly what you would want. Of the 6 games remaining, they have 3-3. The home games are Houston, Chargers, Denver. That's what you want, right? The away games are Dallas, Tennessee, Las Vegas. That's kind of what you want. So if you're a Chiefs fan, yeah, you want to win this week. Is it over? I don't know that it's over, but Mikey, they've got to start not just winning games, but winning them by scoring touchdowns instead of making their kicker an all-pro every single week. What are they doing, or what are you seeing that's not allowing them to score touchdowns or get Kelsey to 7 for 70?
Kareem Hunt's nice, but he's not a lead back. Where's Isaiah Pacheco been? What about Brashard Smith? You went and spent a draft pick on this kid. They're not getting the running game involved. Week after week, we're talking about our favorite prop for the Chiefs is Patrick Mahomes rushing yards. And he definitely changes the game. But remember when Aaron Rodgers was a bit mobile and he would change the game with his legs? And I'm not comparing the two, but we can't look at Mahomes like Lamar Jackson. There is no rushing attack for the Chiefs except Patrick Mahomes. So I think that's where they're really lacking. And I think it would open up the pass game so much more if Isaiah Pacheco could return to form of last year or even better 2 years ago.
Well, I think that they wanted him back last week, and because of his running style, at least that's a word that was given to me, they wanted to hold him out one more week because the way he runs can lead to injuries unless you're 100% healthy. The first game of the day, gigantic one, and you don't need to validate it, Zay, because just give me your take. Because the Packers are 7-3-1, Detroit's 7-4, and if you would have told me 4 months ago that this would be a matchup not for first place and they both had 7 wins, I'd be like, well, what's Minnesota doing? That's not the case. And right now, everybody's chasing the Chicago Bears. But there's a narrative out there, if you look at social media, that, oh, the Bears will fall off at some point, and these are really the two best teams in the NFC North. Um, if that's the narrative, though, which one is better?
There's one with a coach I believe in, and one with a coach I believe will cost them. And Dan Campbell will cost the Detroit Lions. I have said it all season. No matter if the talent is better in Detroit, Dan Campbell, if I'm a Lions fan, I'm worried about being in a NFC North current second place showdown with the Green Bay Packers tomorrow. Because now we're the national spotlight. Everybody's home. Everybody's watching our game. Oh no, everybody might have an opportunity to see Dan Campbell screw us out of a win. I truly believe that that's what's going to happen. Josh Jacobs is back for the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love just has to be good enough to not be bad enough to cost them the game. That's all he has to do. Hand the ball off to Josh Jacobs, let Micah Parsons run the defense, and Jordan Love don't make any mistakes. So I like the Packers in this game.
It's interesting because the way they beat Minnesota, it's such a boring way of doing it, but I think that's how they have to play right now because their offense just isn't clicking, good enough. Detroit, however, I can't get it out of my mind, Mikey. 0 for 5 going for it on fourth down a couple of weeks ago. I can't get it out of my mind that at some point Dan Campbell said, yeah, let me call the plays. I'm the best OC out there. No, you lost the best OC. He's now in Chicago. And you're calling a horrible game. Mikey, I know he's a head coach, but there's a reason he's never been an offensive coordinator. Why does he think now is the time for him to step in and be a part of this?
It's a bad look. You just hired from within the organization to replace Ben Johnson, and then after week 10, you're like, hold on, let me have those plays. This isn't an Applebee's commercial. You're not taking something off of somebody else's plate to make yourself look better. No, Dan Campbell, you look worse. Coach, I believe he looks worse after taking over play calls. Now we're kind of understanding what Dan Campbell is. It's everybody's favorite line when it comes to coaching. He's a what? He's a rah-rah guy. He's a player's coach. That's great. What about a franchise coach? What about a franchise coach that gets his team over the hump? You've now made them relevant. When will you make them champions? Right now, I don't believe he will.
Mikey, it's the same issue they have in Pittsburgh, that it's so hard to consistently win in the NFL that if you have a moderately good record, then your grandfather, you can't be fired. Mike Tomlin can't be fired. Why? Because he went 9-8, 8 straight years. And Dan Campbell's now, to me, starting to get into that category where, yeah, it's great. Players like him. He does a great speeches that show up on Sports Center. But when it comes to winning the big games, we've already seen him, and I will stand on this, cost his own team a trip to the Super Bowl. They should have beaten San Francisco handily a couple of years ago. It was his own fault not taking the 2 field goals. His own fault. But at some point, Mikey, he's got to not just oblivious in a post-game presser like last week going, yeah, maybe my decisions. Yeah, maybe your decision. They're all your decisions all the way home. Third and final game tomorrow night. And by the way, we'll have a full breakdown with best bets on tomorrow morning show live at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Also some kind of cool Thanksgiving Day prop bets that we'll look into. This one's fun on a lot of levels, Mikey. You got Cincinnati. They're out of it 3-8, but Joe Burrow is back. And Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, who's also back from a 1-game suspension, are dynamic together. This is not the week that the Ravens wanted Joe Burrow to come back because the Ravens right now are sitting at 6-5. They're on a winning streak. They are now the best team in their division because the Steelers stink without Aaron Rodgers. So, to me, do you think the Bengals can give the Ravens the game that the rest of the AFC hopes that they can?
I was about to ask if you would call me crazy if I'm taking the Bengals here on the money line upset. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase with something to prove. Coach, look really quickly. Let's just look at the last few quarterbacks the Ravens have faced during their 5-game winning streak. The Jets and Tyrod Taylor, Dylan Gabriel and the Browns, JJ McCarthy and the Vikings, Tua turning the ball over and the Miami Dolphins. And the only one they actually beat who was good, Caleb Williams. So I can't look at that schedule and go, wow, what an amazing run for the Ravens. I think the Bengals look at it that way, and I think the Bengals go, we could play spoiler. Let's play spoiler. Hey, Jamar, I missed you, good buddy. Let's go out and let's play Thanksgiving ball all over the backyard in Baltimore. I think the Bengals upset here.
As fate would have it, they will have to earn their trip to the playoffs because they have Cincinnati 2 of the next 3 weeks. Sandwiched is Pittsburgh. Then you've got New England. Hello. Then you got at Green Bay, playoff team. And then you finish the season at Pittsburgh. Mikey, this is as hard as it could possibly get. The only bad team record-wise is Cincinnati, but they get Joe Burrow back, and we know with Joe Burrow, they're a playoff caliber team. The Ravens have got to focus, and Lamar Jackson's got to do everything he can possibly do to make this thing work.
I think fans and hopefully the players inside Ravens flock understand, like, hey, this 5-game win streak, it couldn't have come at a better time. We absolutely needed it because we were on life support. Now we're still alive. But it's not even the saying they're going to earn it. They're going to have to scratch, claw, and dogfight to get into the playoffs. I would be very, very concerned if I was a Ravens fan because this team has not shown against quality opponents to be worthy of playing up to their opponents. So I don't believe in the Ravens right now.
You know, it's really hard to. I almost want to just bet the total and say, okay, let me see what happens. I like that it's the third game of the night, so you can almost treat it like it's a Hawaii game. You know what I mean? You can almost treat it like it's the Hawaii game. Real quick before we get out of here, later today on Off the Ropes on Sirius XM, and this is, you know how I am. I love to laugh and I love to tease, and I really feel like a lot of people, because of social media toxicity, whatever it is, they can't laugh at things, and I feel bad for comedians. The other night when they had a mini John Cena on Monday Night Raw, it kind of took me back to 1985, 1995. The people that bitched, I had 3 people call in yesterday, and they're like, I was so offended by the use of a little person. I'm like, what offended you? That they used a little person. I'm like, but what actually offended you? Because the little person could have said no. And they're just like adults, Mikey, that want to be in the WWE or AEW or whatever. There are little people that also want to be in these. My best rivalry I ever had was with Hornswoggle, and it was so much fun. And we didn't sit around making fun of little people. We used it to our advantage in the storyline. So I'm anxious. We're going to have Micro John Cena on my show today at 3 o'clock Eastern time. I'm super pumped for it. Why can't people just learn to laugh at a show? Because if this can't happen, then we can't have anybody in movies like Elf or Wicked or any of these others. And if I'm a little person, or whatever the correct term is these days, I'm offended by that.
Coach, thank you. I know it's the holidays and it's Thanksgiving and 24 hours, and you've clearly been in the mood to be very giving. I didn't know I was coming on your show today, Coach. I didn't know I had a spot on Off the Ropes. You're interviewing John Wina. This is the best. I am so excited. I've been eating my whatever The Rock would make fun of him. I've got all my colorful shirts. This is the beauty of especially professional wrestling. You know what I'm more offended by? I should have called in yesterday. I'm more offended by that Brock Lesnar can't walk down the ramp without falling over his feet. So intimidating, Mr. Lesnar. And then he gives his hat over to Braun Breaker. I'm more offended that Brock Lesnar falls on his face and nobody sells it. Braun Breaker's like, I'm so angry. And the broadcast team is like, oh, he's looking for the bottom of his shoes right now. Why are we not selling this? The beauty of professional wrestling is to have fun and marvel in the athletic abilities of these great entertainers. And that is from the Great Khali down to Hornswoggle, down to everybody in between. And that's what makes it so fun. And unfortunately, that is what's wrong with our society. But I do have to say, Kevin Hart released a special this week, his new special on Netflix this week.
Yeah, it's on my list.
I won't spoil any of it for you, but I have literally ran with half of his set through the household. And I think Lady C never wants Kevin Hart to drop another special.
All right. Very, very good. Producer man liked it too, by the way. I should point out that the micro wrestling, they're called the Big Little Brawlers on Discovery Channel. They outrate AEW, NXT, a lot of the wrestling shows, which they never want to admit. It's kind of like Braun Strowman's new show. It is beating AEW. It's beating NXT. Hell, it got 60% of the SmackDown audience last week, over 500,000, 600,000 people on a Friday night watching Braun Strowman. I mean, it's amazing. And I love to see it because it's not like I don't want WWE to do well. They're a juggernaut. I get that. But when guys get released and get fired and you don't know what's next, it's the most terrifying thing in the world. And Braun Strowman, we had him on our show, and he was literally in tears. He's like, I had no idea what I wanted to do next. I have found it. And when you find it, and all of a sudden, like Stone Cold left WWE. He became, in my opinion, one of the best hosts in television. He would host game shows, competition shows. He was amazing. And you never know until you get outside of the bubble exactly what your talents are. So good for Braun Strowman. Good for the micro wrestlers. And can't wait to talk to them today. So we're not doing a premium pop-up tonight. I'm actually, Mikey, I'm going to a wine tasting event tonight. Do you have any pointers for me? Because I don't normally get out. But a buddy of mine from the club says, hey, they're having a wine. I'm trying to be more social. Any advice for you?
I wish I wish I could afford going to said wine tasting. The only whining we get in this household is me watching games. I'm actually whining this week because we're not doing any premium pop-ups, so I can't barricade myself in the Mikey P studio. So thank you very much. I have to be a family man this week, Coach.
You're welcome.
How dare you?
I thought you were going to say the only wine that you drink in your house is in a box. That's what I thought you were going to say.
What's wrong with that? What is wrong?
I don't know. I'm not a wine drinker.
If I may, the first real kind of introduction into working in sports and business and sports media, I went to a NFL players charity event. It was a 2-day event. And at one point, the player brought me over and said, hey, man, you're like part of the family. So just kind of let loose, have a good time. Coach, 3 hours later, his wife and I are sitting in like the gallery and we're just knocking down boxes of wine. By the time I head to my hotel room, I go, did we polish off 4 boxes of wine between all of us? It was the worst night.
If there's one thing that I know is don't leave Mikey alone with a box of wine. That is rule number 1 in the Coaching Company universe. And maybe number 2 as well. All right, we got to get the hell out of here. I got to get ready for Off the Ropes. I will see you tomorrow morning on Thanksgiving morning. Yes?
Yep, can't wait.
All right, be kind to Lady C. You got a lot of games that she's got to let you watch tomorrow, so we need to be on the good side of the fence. In the meantime, that's going to do it for us, for Mikey P, producer man. I am the coach. No podcast tomorrow. There will be a morning show live at 10 a.m. Eastern time. In the meantime, travel safe today. Kiss your relatives, kiss your grandma, and all that good stuff. Until next time, this is the Coach and Company podcast, and there is only one. Take care.